and stuff like that. Every turn you make. Dude, we're going all the way up, man.
Handles in, handles in.
I never dreamed I would. You know, when I was a kid growing up, he was a sideshow freak that people craved to go see. I saw Stoneman Willie. You know, and when I first saw him, I came out saying, I saw Stoneman Willie. Now to be a part of the laying to rest, and you used the word man. I'm very, very particular about that in my eulogy. He was a man, and he was not Stone. His name was not Willie, but he became a legend. Which is fine, I'm very much into legends. But he was a man. He had a mother and a father, friends and relatives we know nothing about. And I think that's the important thing for the eulogy of what we know as Stoneman Willie.
We love it. It's the roots. It's here. It's where we're from, and it's a generational thing. And not so much my generation, but my parents and grandparents. They have memories of coming into town and visiting Stoneman Willie. So
I think it's good that he finally gets his respect and gets buried with dignity. And I think it's cool that everyone came out here to see him. We came out here specifically to see him. I think it's a very good Reading story. I love it.
It was amazing, though. And I enjoy, coming through on the parade. Especially they should have been doing that very often. That's a matter of fact. This is the first time out of all the years I've been here that I've seen that come through the parade.
I always knew about Stoneman Willie. I've never seen him, but my parents, who would have been like 96 and 103 right now, years ago have always told me about Stoneman Willie. I knew he was down at Auman's funeral home, and I read in the paper or online that they were going to have like a proper funeral for him, and I heard the music and great. And I think it's just so cool that they're finally putting him to rest.
Well, I've only been here 10 years.
Okay.
Willie has been here 128. So Willie, throughout the generations that I've worked and gone through the halls of this historic funeral home, has always been a treasured resident. Willie, as odd a story as his is, certainly having this, if you will, we hate to call him a mummy, but ultimately that's clinically what he is. We don't refer to him as a mummy. We refer to him as our friend Willie. And so that's been every funeral director that's come through, office people, part-time associates, clergy persons, and even within the greater community. He has just become such an icon, such a storied part of not only Reading's past, but certainly its present, in the sense that back in the day, they used to bring school groups here. If you can only imagine going to fourth grade one day and, You go home, you go out on a field trip to a ready funeral home to see this mummy, and you go home to your parents at the end of the day and tell them that. You can only imagine what happened today if that were to happen, but that was a regular general occurrence. So Mr. Auman is supposedly the first funeral home, the first funeral director to employ this technique. He employed this technique simply as a matter of preserving James' pen until his real family could be notified. Long story short, multiple efforts were taken at trying to identify his real family. It never happened. So as time went on, as months went on, as months turned into years, pressure was put on Mr. Auman to bury him. And in historical records, the state kind of demanded he do so. And Mr. Auman petitioned the state to maintain Willie here because he wanted to, quote unquote, monitor his experiment to see how long indeed this person would remain in a preserved state. Oddly enough, with the chemical concoction that he had used, not knowing the balance of fluids and chemicals that we know today, Willie began to mummify within weeks. And I think within a matter of 6 months, he was almost completely mummified. He's going to get his day. And that's what we feel is the most important thing, to give him the reverent and respectful burial service that he so rightfully deserves after all these years. And so we definitely want to honor him in the correct way, in the correct fashion. And I think we're doing it.